Jimmy's Classic Radio Show, coming to you from Cambrian College. And I'm here now to talk about the basics of safety first. And the adage, safety first, I think is among the wisest of phrases. The safety first requirements while working with seniors might seem obvious, but I've noticed a lot of little difference makers that are often overlooked. So we're going to take a few minutes to discuss broadly why safety first is foundational to everything in elder care. Contained herein are suggestions to potentially help recreation departments in senior living, but every home, every rec team, everyone's needs are unique. Just take from this what is practical for your unique circumstances. The phrase safety first originated in the early 1900s as part of the burgeoning industrial movement to reduce the rates of accidents in dangerous workplaces like factories and mines. When it became understood that these amazing machines improved productivity, also had the ability to maim and kill workers, standards had to be developed. When it became realized that these injuries came at a cost of lost production, they realized also the fiscal impact upon operation. And this is true in retirement and long-term care homes as well. But back in the 1900s, the complaints of injured workers became gradually louder and more organized, and they were eventually backed by workers' rights. And so the term safety first was popularized and was meant to prioritize worker safety over production. So since those early days, the safety first mentality has gradually taken more and more hold. And we are reminded constantly today that there are still improvements to be made. That's what this video is all about. The senior living industry that we're talking about has very high safety standards too. They are intended to safeguard workers and residents from the many dangers. So let's talk about some wide brush basics here. We'll dive deeper into specifics in subsequent discussions. The cost of safety failures in an elder care home can be steep. Safety failures can result in diminished staff morale, increased staff turnover, damaged reputations, even operating licenses being revoked. This all results in more frequent and more stringent, frustratingly time-consuming ministry audits, and there's a direct monetary cost from safety breaches, ranging from lost revenue to remediation, and even the cost of lawsuits. Safety failures might even threaten the very existence of your workplace, your job, and the jobs of others, as well, of course, as the effects on the person on the receiving end of a safety failure, the injured worker or an injured elder care resident. Hopefully it costs less for a home to impart the culture of safety first, rather than to pay for the outcome of a safety first breach. An injured worker incurs real consequences, such as the interruption of wages, physical rehabilitation, long-term after effects, a mental toll, and injuries will lower morale and increase the likelihood of employees speaking negatively about their workplace. This all potentially creating a downward spiral of diminishing culture. So one of the greatest challenges of any operation is to maintain a positive culture. And if one of our residents is injured, a senior, physical injuries are even more likely to be life-altering, with long periods of rehab and healing, potentially diminished mobility, ongoing pain, long-lasting fear and anxiety, and it's very likely that a resident's family will have some hard questions about the incident. Safety breaches severely undermine the reputation of a senior living operation. They corrode morale and make it harder to attract and retain staff in an industry that's prone to struggles with staffing issues. During my thousands of programs in seniors' homes, I've encountered lots of residents with bruises and bandages. Neglect is an easy first presumption for an outsider or the inexperienced, but true neglect is thankfully statistically rare. Accidents simply happen. I strongly stand behind the good work of those caring for our seniors. I think the vast majority of workers are amazing people, hardworking people, caring people, but sadly you usually only hear about the negatives in the news. To truly implement a safety-first mentality, we must recognize that it is a mathematical eventuality that within a population of seniors, incidents will happen. Falls among seniors are an ever-present danger. But in this series, I'm going to try to maintain a real-world perspective. I'm not here to gloss over issues with naive presumptions that ignore the potential real-world dangers. It's not enough to simply say safety first or put up a sign. It's not enough to simply say that shouldn't happen, because the reality is it will happen. There's a small percentage of accidents that will happen, but we have to work together to try to prevent them. By understanding that falls will happen, we better understand the dangers that cause falls. I'm not condoning any misstep that results in a senior's falling, because it is true that all falls are preventable. But in reality, senior living facilities are vibrant, busy places fraught with potential hazards. Although it's uncomfortable to say it, falls will happen, and it's a statistical reality. So let's keep this discussion real. In so doing, we can better address the serious issue of falls and other issues. As much as we like it, employees cannot be everywhere all the time. They cannot be everything to everyone, and there are limitations in all of us. And again, it's not enough to complain about needing more staff or more money for more staff or more controls. We all show up each day facing the limitations within our home, within our staff, within ourselves, prepared to do the best we can. So constant reminders to staff to enshrine that safety first mindset are necessary. For the various managers and department heads in our homes, safety issues are reviewed as measured quality indicators. You can usually see quality indicator reports posted in a public area near the entry of a nursing home. Charts detailing the rates of falls, rates of infection, they're all charted for those to see the trajectory of their work. These charts are scrutinized by auditors and licensors who are looking for concerning trends. A QI report is a measurement of real life, the people around you, the facility you work in, as well as the seniors in your care and their quality of life. Negative trends can see months of efforts to correct citations. While conversely, if the numbers and trends are favorable, they are cause for celebration. It's much easier to maintain a quality standard than it is to release yourself out of a problem state. So I urge you to not underestimate the importance of QI reports and safety reports. And again, the cost of safety breaches are enormous, so necessarily safety first has to be everyone's number one mandate at all times. When faced with any decision or task, look at it from that safety first and senior-centric perspective. The phrase senior-centric will be a continuous theme in this series as I work to encourage your empathy. Little things make a big difference to a potentially frail or unsteady senior, like having the toilet paper on the dispenser in the correct direction and having the replacement roll readily accessible. A little thing like toilet paper can become a hazard if they're fumbling trying to replace it. Or in the bathroom again, a thing like having the toilet seats securely fastened. Housekeeping should be tasked with not only cleaning the toilet, but also with ensuring that the seat is secure. So if you have a bathroom in your recreation department, make sure that the seat is secure. You can either notify maintenance or be equipped to tighten it on your own. A proper seat should have an easy mechanism. Everyone should be tasked with all safety matters at all times. Take it upon yourself. Keeping it real, another example, if in your hectic day you simply cannot get to something like an empty box of face masks or an empty hand sanitizer, tell the first manager that you see, or front desk, whoever, somebody that you think can help, make sure that that is replaced and restocked. So I can't overstress it. A safety first mindset must be the foundation of all operations, including recreational activities like hosting concerts, hence the title of this series, Safe and Effective Music Programs for Seniors. You wouldn't drive your seniors in your bus to Walmart without wearing seat belts. So just as important are the little things that we can do to keep our audiences safe during programs. The subject of falls is one that will be woven into several discussions, because once a senior has had a fall, it can set up a cycle that increases the likelihood of future falls and other issues. As one loses their mobility, it's really hard to regain. Loss of mobility creates a vicious cycle, and one of our primary tasks is to stave off a senior's loss of mobility as long as possible. Indeed, recreation therapists work closely with physiotherapists because recreation is an extension of physiotherapy, and I regard my concerts to be an extension of all of this. Seniors stomping and clapping and singing to music programs is physiotherapy. So everyone has a role in ensuring safety first, from the administrator through to the qualified nursing staff, to the lesser trained aides, to our volunteers, including the maintenance personnel that ensure the physical conditions of the home are safe. Among the leadership team's primary tasks is to implement and oversee safety first protocols. So I encourage you to participate in your health and safety committee to widen your scope. Regarding slip hazards, slippery floors from wet footwear, tracking in snow, spills. If you show up to work and see that the snow isn't cleared at the front door, take ownership. Take a moment to clean it up. Or tell your manager. When I wheel my cart into a home in the winter, I arrive extra early just to take a moment to clean the snow off my wheels and let them dry. I'll bring along a towel to clean up any puddles, and I'll do my best to not create a slip hazard because I have entrenched in myself a safety first mentality, and that's woven into my music programs. I'm not just a musician, I'm a healthcare worker. So compared to other casual entertainers, my attention to safety is elevated. A long-term care home will have a safety committee, clearly among the most important committees in the entire operation. Akin to infection control, the focus is about ensuring safety for our residents and staff while minimizing the varied costs from safety breaches. Who can forget the COVID pandemic? Look how important safety first became during that global pandemic. Imagine what the pandemic would have been like without strong adaptive safety protocols. And another safety first example, fire drills. They are among the most complained about staff training sessions in an operation, but they are essential. Fire drills literally save lives, typically happening in real time under everyday circumstances, unannounced, during charting, during meal times, during activities like my concerts. Many times I've been interrupted by the clanging of fire alarms or a blaring code red announcement. I just do my best to weave the interruption into my show, knowing that the fire drill is more important than my little concert. The fact that programs and fire drills overlap sometimes cannot be helped, as it is by the very nature of a drill that it needs to be unannounced and spontaneous. Usually though, somebody forewarns me, the entertainer, and other contracts that a drill is about to happen. 2 of my senior living venues have become victim of a fire tragedy over the years. It happens. Thankfully, in neither case were there any casualties because of the capable staff and the training they received. But fires and all things safety, they are serious business with serious consequences. We sometimes see horrible news stories about fires in nursing homes. Those headlines are among the most stirring one can read. Fire drills form skills that you hope you'll never need. But the more you develop a preventative safety-first mentality, the less likely you'll actually need to implement emergency measures because you will already have been vigilant. You will have foreseen the possible dangers. Food safety is a subject requiring constant vigilance too. When you hear about gastrointestinal outbreaks like norovirus, it's quite possible it is from a breach in food safety. A careless cook or a dirty hand coming out of the bathroom can sicken an entire population. Always regard the doorknob coming out of the bathroom as contaminated. Always ensure your hands are clean after exiting. There should be an operating hand sanitizer dispenser immediately in sight when exiting a bathroom. Food service operations were my first foray into senior living operations as a nutritional manager in long-term care. So this became the basis of my safety first mentality. Originally a chef, safety first was drilled into us during school, and then from health inspectors while working in the restaurants. And then as a nutritional manager, I led dietary teams to delivering safe therapeutic diets. There is a hierarchy in therapeutic diets, from dietitians through to the nutritional managers, through the well-trained regular staff, down to the lesser-trained aides, and even to the perhaps untrained volunteers. The most likely person to bring potential harm to a senior during a recreational program is the lesser trained or the untrained. But I've observed numerous incidences of staff who should know their safety protocols not doing them, sometimes just ignoring them, or possibly distracted or too busy. And sometimes they're just frustrated to the point of bending the rules. While entertaining, this former nutritional manager in me is making observations. We will touch on therapeutic diets at length in a detailed analysis in a future episode, but some brief examples are not understanding the importance of a thickened fluid for a senior with a swallowing issue, or the dangers of a person on a pureed diet being given solid food, or a senior struggling with their blood sugar or insulin balance. Roughly 1/4 of seniors are diabetic. Slabs of birthday cake with gobs of sugary icing can cause real harm. So therapeutic diets must be understood by anyone serving food and drink, or directly overseen by someone managing the room. During a music program in a senior's home, There is a knowledge chain about those snacks and drinks, from the dietitian all the way down to the senior, trusting you. Hand hygiene is another critical safety first subject that we'll just touch on here, as we'll revisit it often. But I present one example now. Imagine a senior having used the bathroom. Now they want to wash their hands, hopefully. Imagine that paper towel dispenser has no paper towel sticking out for them to grab. Imagine it's one of those cursed modern Torque-style dispensers. Imagine that frail old senior needing to twist that damnable knob on the side of the dispenser, trying to get just a piece of paper towel out. That same difficult knob that has had other people struggle with it. I'm on a bit of a mission to eradicate those Torque-style paper towel dispensers from seniors' homes. They are too difficult for seniors, they're too prone for failure, and I believe they are an infection control issue. What if the senior is visually impaired? What if they have a cognitive impairment? What if they have physical weakness or a loss of function from a stroke or an injury or an illness? What if they're seated low in a wheelchair? What if you're in an outbreak? Torque-style paper towel dispensers risk a resident potentially exiting the bathroom with diminished hand hygiene. Staff members too. They've turned that knob on the Torque dispenser with wet hands. They've been forced to touch that machine that others have touched. So you don't know how clean it is. You've just washed your hands and now you're forced to physically handle that knob trying to get a piece of paper towel. A lot of people just get frustrated and wipe their hands on their uniform. What if they simply go back into the community with soiled hands? What if there is highly contagious norovirus circulating? What if there's a global pandemic? How important is hand hygiene then? This is why Torque-style dispensers are entirely unsuitable for seniors' residences, yet they seem to be everywhere. I encourage your home to abolish Torque-style paper towel dispensers that need two hands. A simple bifold dispenser will help keep you safe. I'm amazed at the prevalence of these Torque dispensers. I'm equally also amazed how often these dispensers are not flagged by safety committees, or maybe someone mentions it, but the facility is locked into a contract, promised reduced costs, reduced waste, ease of maintenance, uninterrupted supplies. Supply companies are always touting cost savings of one system or another, but the bottom line is, if a senior or staff member cannot dry their hands effectively, that is a safety issue. We've touched on a lot here already. These are just a few examples of the basics of safety first. Safety concerns are all around us. They surprise us, they sabotage us, they challenge our vigilance. And one of my primary goals in this series is to instill an automatic tendency towards safety first, to make safety first an ongoing filter through which one views our work. When you allow safety first to become part of your mentality, you will protect the seniors, your coworkers, and yourself. I'll see you in the next video.